Okay, good morning. Today is Friday, the 25th day of Kislev. It is the first day of Hanukkah. But today we begin the third chapter of Tanya. This is the first two chapters. The Alter Rebbe was discussing the two souls, the animal soul and the godly soul. Yesterday, the second chapter, the Alter Rebbe explained what is the godly soul right before Hanukkah to prepare us to understand what is the power, just like Hanukkah is the light that takes over the darkness, illuminates the darkness. The same thing is the soul of a Jew, illuminates and has very, very powerful. That's what we discussed yesterday. In the next few chapters, the Alter Rebbe is going to discuss the makeup of the souls. That we understand how the soul functions and how it helps us to connect to Hashem when we understand how our soul functions. So the next three chapters is going to discuss the makeup of the godly soul, and the following three chapters is going to talk about the makeup of the animal soul, the animalistic soul. So we'll go straight into the reading of the chapter 3. Vehine, says the Alter Rebbe, Kol bechina umadrega misholosh elu, nefesh, ruach, uneshama, klula me'eser bechines. Each of these three distinctions and grades, nefesh, ruach, and neshama, consist of 10 faculties. So we talked about the soul, that the soul is divided into three general categories. There is three distinctions, different levels of the souls. There is the nefesh, the ruach, the neshama. Nefesh is part of the soul that is connected more with the action. Ruach is the soul that is connected more with the emotions. And the neshama is more connected with the intellect. Now, each one of these three levels, they consist of 10 faculties. Now, these 10 faculties they correspond to the 10 supernal spheres. It is the divine manifestations in which they originate and they descend from them. Everything it comes from the spiritual realms. So it says, "B'tzelem Elokim bara et Adam." Hashem, God created us in His image, and so just like there is the 10 attributes in the spiritual realms, we have also the 10 attributes in our souls, and it's going to explain what are those 10 attributes. It says in general, generally speaking, these 10 attributes, these 10 sephiros, are subdivided into two general categories. Shehein, what are they? Shalosh imois v'sheva kfulos. There are 3 mothers and 7 doubles. He's going to explain what that means. The 3 mothers represents the intellectual part because they give birth to the emotions. Our emotions are a result of our intellect. So he's going to explain why the intellect is divided into 3. And then the 7 emotions are called doubled. Why? Because the emotional attributes, they manifest themselves into 2 ways, and we'll explain it later on. Okay? So he explains like this: Pirush Chachma Bina Vadas, which means you have the three intellectual part, which is called Chabad: Chachma, Bina, and Das. Loosely translated as wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. But it's more than just that, as we shall see soon. V'shivas Yemei Abinyan, and the 7 days of creation. What is the 7 days of creation coming in here? Because the days of the creation, each day was something else was created, and they correspond to the 7 emotions. First day is connected with the emotion of chesed. Chesed is kindness. The next is gevura. Gevura is severity. And then here goes tiferes. Tiferes is beauty, which is a combination of 2 different colors, the chesed and the gevura, chulu, and so on. So those are, generally speaking, the 10 attributes. They are divided into 3 intellectual ones and the 7 emotional ones. Now we're talking about the same thing in the human soul. So too, in the human soul, and its 10 faculties are also divided into generally into 2 categories: seichel umidos, intellect and emotions. And he explains now as seichel koilel. What is the seichel? What does the intellect contain? Category of intellect includes chachma, bina, vadas, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. To understand a little bit what it means, so the intellect works like this. First of all, you have the concept of wisdom. We call it wisdom. This is the idea that a person receives in his brain, a flash, so to speak. And once you have this idea, let's say you have something you think about very deeply and you can't figure out how to do it, and then all of a sudden, I got it. You have the flash of the idea, you know exactly what you do. But if someone is going to ask you now, okay, put it down on paper now, then no, I can't put it down on paper. I have to think about it. But I have the idea in my head. That's called chokhmah. Bina is when you take it apart, the understanding. When you take this idea and you break it down to details. Das, the knowledge, is knowing someone, knowing something, or knowing someone is when you connect to it. Meaning you're taking the intellect and you apply it into yourself. You become connected. Like when the Torah says, when Adam was united with Chava, with Eve, the Torah says, Adam yada es Chava. Adam knew Chava. Connecting, intimately connecting. That is not das. And then you have the midas. The midas is the emotions. So seichel koilel chachma bina das, the intellect, category of intellect includes a chachma bina and das. Ve'amidas hein. What are the midas? So generally divided to 2. Avas Hashem u'pachtai v'yirasei lefarei chunu. The love of Hashem and the dread and fear of Hashem, and glorification of Hashem, and so forth. Now, the Chachma Bina Das nikru imois mokel amidas. The Chabad, the Chachma, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, this intellectual part, these are called the mothers and the source of the midas, the emotions. Ki amidas hein toildas Chabad, because the midas are offsprings, they derive from the Chabad, the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Now the Alter Rebbe goes to explain it a little further. Says to explain the matter. The intellectual faculty of of the rational soul, shehu amaskil kol davar, that first conceives any matter. Nikra b'shem chachma. This is called chachma, and it says the word chachma is made out of two words, koyach ma. The words koyach ma, which means the potential of what? What is? Meaning it's, you have everything there, but it's, what is it? You can't pinpoint it saying what it is. Ma is also the idea of bittul, self-nullification. Because when you are self-nullified, you remove any preconceptions that you may have, you become a vessel to receive something new. You cannot get something, a real new idea, unless you remove your preconceptions. So this is the idea of bittul, nullifying. When you have the nullification, you're able to receive that higher light. So this is chachma, this is the wisdom. And then what's the next level? When one brings forth this concentrated idea from potential into the actual, which means when one meditates and thinks deeply in this intellect to understand the matter full well, to understand it in its depth. When you take it, you delve into the very depth as it evolves from the concept which he had conceived in his intellect, then it's nikra bina. This is called a bina. This is called the understanding. And when you break it down, vehein ein, av ein. These two are called the father and the mother. The chachma is the father, and the bina is like the mother. I mean, it's just like in biological terms, the father has the drop, and the mother takes it and breaks it down, and it's built within the mother's womb and develops into details. And those, the father and the mother, they give birth to a child. What is the child in this sense? They, the father and the mother, they give birth to the love of Hashem, the awe of Hashem, the dread of Hashem. Just like when you meditate about something which is a good, a positive thing, you connected it. You want to be connected. But when you think about something which is awesome, you feel a distance, you feel how small you are. And this is the beginning, and tomorrow's shir is going to explain how the emotions come out from this. So this is the end of today's shir. Thank you so much for joining, and I wish you all a happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a time when we bring the light outside. We spread the light. That means we have to spread the light of the Hasidus, spread the light of Tanya. So let's share this class and subscribe. And we should see you, Metz Hashem, Sunday morning. Any questions?